Thanks for joining us for This Week in Odyssey, where subscribers to Odyssey, the print MIS for marketing ideas for printers, can discover what's new in Odyssey and learn about the best practices to use Odyssey to its fullest. Let's get started.
Welcome to Marketing Ideas for Printers This Week in Odyssey webinar. For anyone that's keeping track, this is episode number 19. We will be presenting these webinars every other Wednesday morning. And just please note the webinar occurs at 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 p.m. Eastern Time. This bi-weekly webinar will focus on release notes. If we feel there's any noteworthy bug fixes, a few tips and tricks here and there, anything and everything that you would like to know about Odyssey. With today's episode, I will be going over a couple of tips, or I guess they could be known as good to understand concepts that you may not have known about, which hopefully will help to maximize your effectiveness when using Odyssey. To start today's webinar, I'm going to go over a couple things that I've gone over before, and this is not necessarily to keep hounding it in, but it could be we have new folks on the call or new folks that may be looking at these at a later time. We want to make sure that you are aware of these various features. So the help menu in the upper right, if you select that help menu, there's three options. View Odyssey documentation will take you to our user guide, which is put out there really for anybody that wants to view the user guide. This allows you to search for a keyword you're looking for, to select the various sections, or if you feel the need, you can download this user guide as well. You can also select the Odyssey release notes. This will take you to our bi-weekly release notes area, which will talk about bug fixes if there's any new features and that sort of thing. And the third thing is if you would like to open a support ticket, this link will take you to the help center of your website, where you can open up a support ticket, ask your question, and that is sent into our customer care team here, which will take a look at that as soon as we can. So the help menu is pretty valuable with the three different options there. Something else that's come out in the past couple of weeks, we call it the universal nav bar or navigation bar. This is tucked away in the upper left next to where it says Odyssey. If you click on this 9-box toolbar here, there's a pop-up, Odyssey, Website Control Center, Direct Mail, and Social Marketing. So if you're in Odyssey and you would like to go to your Website Control Center, simply selecting this link will take you to your website's control center. Also selecting the Direct Mail or the Social Marketing tabs, that will also take you to either one of those locations in your info center. Here is social marketing if you are subscribed to it, and if you are subscribed to direct mail, that link will also take you to your direct mail location. Similarly, either within your info center or in your control center of your website, if you select the upper left, you are taken to, you can go to Odyssey, you can go to your website, and don't mind these are some demo sites I've been playing with. You can be taken to your direct mail or social marketing. So whether you are in your website, you are in Odyssey, you are in your info center, this navigation toolbar pops up, which allows you to seamlessly change from one location or route to one location from another. So you're not having to create a new tab, type in the URL, or remember what the URL is to get to where you want to go. You can just simply select this little icon in the upper left and then select the destination that you'd like to go to. So that's something, like I mentioned, that we put out in the past couple weeks that I wanted to quick show you. All right, on to the tips and tricks that I mentioned earlier. There's two, and I guess really three areas that I'm going to go over today. The first one is how to reorder a job or create a new estimate from that reorder versus simply just copying an estimate. So what I'm going to first do is go into the Orders tab. And actually what I wanted to mention, if you want to move around these icons in an order that you know, maybe you use icons more than others, and maybe these up here you use less often. If you hover over these and you get the crosshairs, as you can see, you can move your icons around. Just how you can kind of rearrange the dashboard of Odyssey to fit your needs. So just thought I'd quick mention that. But back to, we're going to go into orders. So I'm going to view all orders, and I'm going to select the job, and I'm going to show you how you can either reorder that job or create a new estimate to make edits. So I kind of had one picked out down here that I had done before, which was business cards for Trisha, or business cards Trisha. On the far right of every order, there is a little shopping cart icon with a circle, and if you hover over that, it says the word reorder. I'm going to select that basket or that icon for reorder, and you get a pop-up, order details. So if you would like to reorder an exact copy of the original order, you can do so. You can change the job description. So maybe you want this to be business cards, if I could spell, or MI4P, or whoever it's for. You can change the quantity. You can change the job status if you want. Maybe you want to have it in production when you create this reorder, and then you would select reorder. It's going to reorder every detail, every component, every resource. It's going to look the exact same for the same company, contact, or branch, whoever it's indicated for. So this is a quick way. I need to create, or I need to reorder another 1,000 business cards for Bob, or maybe he wants 2,000 business cards instead of 1,000. You can just quick go in here, update the job description and quantity, and select reorder. And I don't know if you noticed, but that price will also adjust accordingly to the quantity that you change it to. That is one thing you can do when you select the reorder button, and it says it right at the top. If further customization is needed, you would select create a new estimate. So I'm going to X out of here, and I'm going to actually create a new estimate from that. So I'm going to go back down to these business cards for my name, and I'm going to select the reorder button. So now let's say, yeah, I need to reorder this, but I might need to change some details. I'll change some details on the fly here, but let's say I just need to change something about this before I actually create this into order. I'm simply going to change this to create a new estimate. So like it says, if further customization is needed, click create a new estimate. I'm not going to change the description or the quantity. You certainly could, but you could also do that when you create a new estimate. So I'm going to go to create a new estimate. Odyssey takes a couple seconds, and it takes you to that new estimate that's being created. Here is where you can change things if you'd like, depending on your needs. Business cards, maybe it's for John and Bob. Maybe you want to assign an estimator to this estimate as an example. Probably you're going to have it, it's a job accepted once you save it. Let's see, anything else here? If you want to change the company and the contact for this newer estimate, you can go ahead and blank those out. You can click the lookup. I think I have my younger daughter in here. She is going to be at grandparents today, so we're going to go to save, and bam, I just assigned this new estimate, or this reordered new estimate, to a different contact. If I go into the component, I might want to change the quantity. Maybe I need 2,500 of whatever this is. Bam, change the quantity. If you need to bring in another resource on the right, if you need to change an existing resource or an existing form element that's in here, you could do all these things, view the estimate to make sure, as you can see, my quantity is updated. It's assigned to my updated customer. You can make sure that everything is updated to how you want it, and then you could select save. So we have estimate 1158. That's been accepted for an order, as you can see. I can view the order, which will take me to the order page, or I can edit order, which takes me to the estimate to view it. I'm going to just click view order. Oh, that's right. This hasn't had the components defined. So what I'm going to do actually is go back to the estimate 1158. I'm going to, whoop, I meant to click edit order. I click a little too fast here. So let's go to edit order. So it's going to take me to the estimate. And we do have this component, which is the business cards. All right, and we're going to view estimate. Everything should be there. I'm going to select order. No company with this one. Hold on, let me put in my person here. I need to go to information. I do have my company in there, so that, oh, she's not, I'm sorry, I know what that's asking. It's verifying to make sure that your contact You may have many contacts that are not affiliated with the company, not a problem. So it's just making sure, Odyssey is just making sure if this contact is not part of a company. I'm going to go to order again, and I'm going to say, yes, this is correct, that she is not part of a company. And right here, I'm getting that pop-up to order this estimate. Okay, I'm going to verify it. The quantity is 2,500. I want it to simply say it's in production, and I'm going to place new order. Now Odyssey creates that new order based on that estimate that I edited. And if I select that order from up here, Odyssey takes me now, as you can see, business cards. Here's the contact, the quantity. So once you save and or select order, Odyssey will then create the new order for you where you can route to it and kind of look over what's going on with it. If you need to create a job ticket, ship label, and things like that. So that is an example of how to reorder a job. And let me quick go over that with you one more time. It's selecting this reorder icon on the far right line of any order. And then you have simply the ability to reorder the exact same copy, or if further customization is needed, that's where I selected create a new estimate and went through and created different quantity and so forth. So in case you weren't aware, maybe you didn't know what it did or didn't get too deep into it, Odyssey gives you that flexibility to create an exact order, or if you need to update something that's on that order before you create another new order, you can create a new estimate. So that's one part or one tip that I wanted to show you today. The other one is, I'm going to X out of here and I'll go to my homepage, also known as the Odyssey dashbar. Going to click on orders, or you can click on view all. Either one will take you to that main orders page. So up here on the upper left, if you haven't noticed or maybe haven't gone in there, it's called edit status types. So if I click on this, now I've played around with this before over the past little less than a year or so. What this does is allow you to add job statuses in Odyssey here and the equivalency of what they would be on the web. And so right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 that I'm really using. I've seen printers have more than that, and there may be a few less. So like it says here, on the right are lists of job statuses available in Odyssey, which is this right side, and on your website, which is this web status column here. Over here, there's website job statuses. The 3 that have the star, those are system-wide that cannot be edited or removed. They're kind of brought into Odyssey when we first turn on Odyssey for you. So those 3 are at least, they're in there and could not be deleted or edited in any, I shouldn't say edited. Oh yes, they cannot be edited. Edited meaning if I was to select on any of these other ones, you can go ahead and change the name. So some of these I have created, as you can see the word test. I'm going to delete him. Some of these I've created new, such as shipped, finished file only, so some of these I've created. What this is basically allowing you to do is in Odyssey, depending on your needs, how do you want a job to flow through Odyssey as far as the status? Is it a website hold? Is there no price when it came in? Do you need feedback from your buyer? Which in my case, I said this is going to be affiliated with in estimating on the website side. These are all things for you to consider if you'd like to get more deep into Odyssey statuses and how that relates to a web status. On the right here are clearly ones that I've added that aren't these stars. If you ever create one and you want to rename it or edit it, simply select it and you can rename it. If you have one that you don't want, as you saw with me with the test one, when you hover over it, there's an X to delete. It will delete this web status. If you need a new one, you would select new, and of course I'm just going to quick call it new web status, and it's called new web status. And that should also show up here. So if you have a Odyssey status, whether it's new or an existing, and you want to assign that to, let's say my new one that I just created was called new website status. That should take, and actually I'm going to quick refresh. Sometimes the refresh helps. In all cases, you're not seeing what you're seeing. There we go. So I had to refresh. the new website status shows up, and now that I selected it here, it shows up. I'm not saying this is a right or wrong, but I just want to show you a quick example of when you add a new one. It's available in the drop-down. And so let's say you invoice something on Odyssey side, maybe your web status, instead of saying completed, might be whatever this is. This is how you can show to your print buyers on the website what the status is of their order. But you on Odyssey, you might want to know, you might want to call it something more detailed for you and your staff, but obviously your print buyers don't need to know those details or what it's called at that deep level. So this is how you can kind of make it more generic. So let's say a website comes in, website hold or website no price. I just have it called on hold. Let's say you have an order that comes in with no price. My Odyssey status shows myself and my staff website no price. Maybe on the website, you just want to simply show that it's in estimating to your print buyers. Similar to maybe you're waiting for feedback from your print buyer. Again, that could be considered in estimating. In production, I just want to call it in production. Now, I'm going to put this back to blank and just delete this out, so I'm not adding a bunch of extra things. This extra column, if you select this extra column, this is a little bit more extra, would you say, about the job status type. This is how it's labeled in Odyssey. This is how you can select what you want it to be for the website. There's ons and offs, whether you want this to be scheduled and worked on if it's active, anything about ready to invoice. So there's a little more details about each job status type if you need to toggle these on or off. And there's a little bit information on here where it says you can select the web status from the drop-down list next to each Odyssey status, such as this, or you can take one of these and drag it over here. So maybe we need to drag it over to graphic design. Bam, it replaced what I had in here. Maybe, let me do this one as an example. It replaced the in graphic design to in the copy department. So again, you can simply drag these over, or you could do the drop down arrow and choose what you would like. These are also sortable, so if for any reason you wanted to put the more popular ones that you use, or maybe the ones that are more common at the top, you can also drag these more common ones at the top, so it's sortable, would you say. And again, these starred ones, and it says right here, it's a system-wide status that cannot be edited, sorted, or removed. There's 4 of them: in estimating, in production, proof, response received, and I see completed down here. So these are the 4 basic ones that we include with any Odyssey subscription. When we turn that on, those are included in the web status. So this is something maybe you haven't seen, or as we were seeing back at the main orders page, this edit status type in the upper left, maybe you weren't sure what that meant. Maybe you came in here and you were kind of confused. We also have more information about this in our Odyssey user guide, which again is found under the help section in the upper right. But this is allowing you just to display to you and your staff a job as it moves through Odyssey. What status do you want to show it to your staff? What web status do you want to give that order or that estimate or whatever it is to your print buyers when they log into their account summary? How do you want that to displayed? A little bit probably easier for them to understand is they don't need to know, well, ready to invoice, done with gang. They might simply want to know it as, oh, it's still in production or it's completed. So it's just a way, depending on what your needs are and how detail oriented you are, the statuses that you want to relate from Odyssey to the web. So I know that may have been a lot to digest, just depending on if you've seen this before or if you were familiar with it. So I would say we record these. We put this out on our YouTube site with all the other episodes that we record. So please feel free to revisit this at your leisure. And I would just encourage you to look at any other episodes that maybe you're wondering about. I did go through and rename them to try and capture what the main bullet points are, the main topics for each webinar, so it makes it a little bit easier to hopefully find what you're looking for. And again, if you ever have any questions about the webinar, any questions about the episodes that we have put out there, please feel free to give us a call or email us at our customer care at mi4p email, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. I would say just thank you for joining us during this edition of This Week in Odyssey, and we do have a survey at the end, so thank you very much.
For those watching live, stick around for a 2-question survey. On behalf of the whole team at Marketing Ideas for Printers, thanks for joining us.